How they do to our grade 8 crew, our second farm crew. Alright, listen. I just gotta clear up some things on digestion. I'll make sure I set the light and I can't stick to it. Alright, yeah, you got digestion divided into, you can put it in two categories. You have the physical aspect, which we call mechanical digestion. Any activity at all, not necessarily digestion, can be classified one. You have a physical component and a chemical component. Then they classify it as a mechanical or chemical. So digestion, you have a mechanical aspect to it. Mechanical digestion, you have a chemical aspect to it. Enzyme breaking down the substrate. And substrate just simply means food that the enzyme have. So, all right then. So we get that. Cause just like we're gonna do respiration further down in the term, I have a mechanical respiration. I also have a chemical one, and the mechanical one is the most on a mistake for respiration, which is really just breathing, where you breathe in and and that is not the true meaning of respiration. But that's for later down. But let me continue. So you have digestion, and digestion starts with ingestion. That's when you take small pieces of food into the mouth. Although some craving people might shove a whole a bun or patty in their mouth, but we don't call the name. So yes, so you have the ingestion, and then you have the whole digestion after, which would have involved both the mechanical aspect and the chemical aspect. And then after that, now you will have the absorption when the food completely digested and absorbed into the bloodstream and carried to the designated areas. Then after that, now you have assimilation where like the protein, the amino acid would be used to build up cells, repair tissue and organs, etc. The fatty acid will be deposited around the body, and if you have too much height deposit, then you say that you become obese. You're suffering from obesity. So if you love fatty food, make sure you like to exercise and do a lot of activities. All right, so I give some questions, and I know some of you, because you don't read, they have this very insultive saying that if you want to hide something from black people, just write it down because we don't like to read. But I want you to change that mindset and prove them wrong. All right. So you, when you take the food into your mouth and you start to chew it, even before you take the food into your mouth, the first set of digestive juice is secreted and your salivary gland. And we call it digestive juice because it have in enzymes that take part in digestion. But the saliva not only provide the enzyme amylase, but it also serves to moisten the food so it's easy for mastication, which is a fancy word for just chewing the food and so. Alright, so and then it also when it moistens it create a kind of aqueous medium, which means liquid medium, so that time can readily digest whatever substrate. Remember, substrate mean food group, and that kind of whatever food is working on. So we know amylase is going to work on starch. So it's gonna start breaking down the starch, converting it into maltose. And like we said, the first phase of digestion starts in the mouth with starch digestion. Starch is a carbohydrate. All sugars are carbohydrate for those who may not know. Digestive juice occur in the mouth. The first act of mechanical digestion or physical digestion, whichever one you're used to, starts in the mouth with the chew food. And the chemical digestion starts there too with the amylase breaking down the starch. All right? I hope my hand not blocking the mic and coming through. All right, so after that now, when the food is chewed thoroughly, then and chewed up, the tongue roll the food, it into a ball called a bolus and push it to the back of the throat, and then you have this reflex action where you swallow. When that occurs, you have a thin flap of skin called epiglottis, which covers your windpipe or your trachea so you don't choke. That's why they say you mustn't talk with food in your mouth, because someone love chat. And the epiglottis confused, because it's gonna close when you're swallowing, and it has to open for the ear to come out your lungs to form the words so that we can hear your voice. So when you're chatting, it's gonna like, and it just a cha, and it just give up, and the food just lodge in your windpipe, and you're choking. And if somebody not sensible enough to give you what we call a Heimlich maneuver, where kind of like a bear hug from behind with your hand, just give a fast pull up your 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 uh your diaphragm. That's a thin muscle beneath your lung, and that pushes the air out your lungs in a violent manner, sort of like a volcano erupting. So that rush of air out your lungs should be enough to push the food and lodge in your windpipe. All right. So the next aspect of mechanical digestion would be now when the food going down your esophagus, the circular ring muscles along the esophagus wall pushes the food down your throat. That action is so powerful that if you're even standing on your head, the food will still be carried. It would still be carried down into your stomach. That's what I want to say. Yeah. And now inside your stomach now, the next set of chemical digestion occurs, and also the next set of mechanical digestion. And I'll explain to you. But first and foremost, this is the second place now where digestive juice is secreted. The digestive juice is in the form of gastric juice, and it's produced in what we call the gastric glands, which line the wall of your stomach. So the gastric glands secrete the digestive juice, as the name, as the gland, it's named after the gland, which is called gastric juice, which contain the enzyme pepsin, which is going to carry out the chemical digestion by attacking the protein. You also have hydrochloric acid, but it's diluted, because if it was concentrated, it would burn up the whole of your stomach. So it dilute hydrochloric acid, which kill any germs or bacteria in the food. You understand? You might name your patty and watch and a fly pitch on it and deposit any little bacteria, which are microscopic, you can't see. So the hydrochloric acid hopefully will be able to kill it. It also have mucus in there, which is to protect the wall of your stomach from the same dilute acid, so it don't break it down. So some of you will love chew bubble gum, give your stomach the anticipation that food is coming down there. So the gastric juice build up. So your more gastric juice with more hydrochloric acid dilute. No matter if it dilute, we have a whole heap of it. It's gonna get a little concentrated because there's no food there to soak it up. So it's gonna damage your stomach wall and you get ulcer stomach. You understand me? Alright, so it also have a substance called renin, but it's usually in young or baby mammals. And this renin now causes milk to clump up so that the pepsin can act on the milk protein. But as you get older, the renin content in your gastric juice diminishes. And you hear people say they are lactose intolerant, they can't digest milk. That's because there's no renin there. And for some people, because it's not digested, it kind of upset their stomach and give them diarrhea or make them poop and it smell. All right, so the next set of physical digestion or mechanical digestion mechanical digestion also occur in your stomach. Because your stomach now is remember, it's a muscular bean shaped organ. Bean shape means shape like a red peas, or them peas that were coming like oxtail and bean. Yeah, or which other one? Pig trotters. I don't know them food estates. Some don't know me I mention it. But anyway, it's shaped like a bean. Look pan a bean, pan a picture or something, you get the picture. You get the idea. So it churns the food, churn it till it gets thick and creamy. Cause just like a cement truck where I spin and I mix cement. So that's a whole physical, mechanical activity. So that's another aspect of mechanical digestion. And the food get creamy and thick and stay in the stomach for about 2 to 3 hours. And then just like that thing that, like the people in a bakery when they might write your name, happy birthday upon the cake, what thing that where them squeeze and squirt out the thing. The stomach, the entrance of the stomach is known as the cardiac sphincter. That's the entrance. The sphincter muscle there, the entrance of the stomach, it only allow one-way traffic. That means allow food to go in. So that's why when you're vomiting, you feel your chest is so you that pain because the action is going against peristalsis. In fact, when you're vomiting, it's called antiperistalsis. So if you want to tell somebody, say, you want to vomit, just tell them, say, I feel like I'm going to have antiperistalsis. It means that the food are going to push the opposite way against the norm and push it back out through your mouth, especially if your brain think that the food might be poisoned. Anyway, so as I was saying, after the 3 hours, the food is squirt into the duodenum, which is really the first part of the small intestine. You have the duodenum, the jejunum, and the regular intestine. Look at the word jejunum. I mean, I think I pronounce it correctly, but anyway. So when the food now, which is a chyme, well, the protein in the food from the mouth, it would have been converted to polypeptide. The starch in the food would have been converted to maltose by the amylase in saliva, while the pepsin in the gastric juice would convert the, the protein to polypeptide. Now, in the duodenum, this is where the next set of digestive juice is secreted. You have you have the pancreas, which produce insulin to convert sugar to prevent people from having diabetes. That pancreas also secretes what we call pancreatic juice, which is the third set of digestive juice. And this pancreatic juice contains trypsin, which is just like pepsin. It attacks it works on protein, trypsin. So it converts any protein that was not completely digested into polypeptide. It changed those that the pepsin didn't get to act on in the stomach and convert the rest of protein to polypeptide. All right. Then now you have amylase again, like what was in the mouth, in the same pancreatic juice, and the amylase now is going to continue what was occurring in the mouth. It's going to start breaking down into maltose. The amylase, the saliva in your mouth, it creates a alkaline background which amylase like to work in. So that's why it stopped digesting starch in the stomach because of the acid. Pepsin like acid, it can't work in the alkaline background. So in this duodenum now, the first part of the small intestine, the pancreatic juice now will contain amylase, which will start back the digestion of the starch. Alright? But remember the acid from the stomach, the liver produces a green liquid called bile, and it is stored in the bile duct, and it's also released in the duodenum. So that bile juice, which is part of the whole digestive juice, in the duodenum, it neutralizes the acidic content of the food so that the maltose can again work on it. But then the pepsin would stop work. But guess what? The trypsin now, it like an alkaline background which the bile will create, the bile juice. So the trypsin will start to work on the protein that wasn't completely digested to polypeptide by the pepsin enzyme in the stomach. And also the bile also causes fat. It emulsifies fat. It simply means it causes fat in the food to form droplet. You know, the whole liquid, the chyme which was formed in the stomach. Yes, so any fat in there now, the bile juice will make it form droplet. Like when you drop oil in a water, you see that like a droplet thing. And then now, the third enzyme now, remember we mentioned amylase, I have trypsin. So now you're gonna have lipase, which will work on the fat. So lipase acts on the fats, and fats are the last thing we start to be acted on, but fats are the first one to completely digested. So the lipase, it does break down the fat and oil into fatty acid and glycerol, and then now the third stage of digestion now. Remember, we say ingestion, digestion, and absorption. So the fat now, which has been digested by the enzyme lipase, the fatty acid and glycerol, is now absorbed inside the lining of the stomach in a thing called villi. You have villus singular, villi plural, and it's absorbed in there and carried in the bloodstream to the different areas of your body. You know, fat deposit around the bottom in ladies, the breast too, and men and women to the belly part, on the legs, and so on, etc. All right, now, so after that happen, now the food is moved further down the small intestine, and this is where the next set of digestive juice. How much juice now in the mouth was number one saliva, number two in the stomach with gastric juice, number three you have in the duodenum from the bile duct, which have the bile made in the liver. I have the pancreatic juice from the pancreas. So now in the other part of the small intestine now, the wall of the small intestine have certain glands called intestinal glands which secrete intestinal juice. And these are the mop up crew, these complete digestion. So you're going to have an enzyme named maltase. I know the name, similar to maltose. So yes, it's going to act on the maltose, which the amylase had converted from the starch, that sweet tasting sugar. So the maltase will change the maltose into glucose, the final stage of carbohydrate digestion. And that sugar now would be converted to glycogen by the insulin hormone, which also come from the pancreas, and then carried and stored in the body, are used for energy, whichever one is. If you're not doing much exercise, like somebody who sit down and type, and so they wouldn't be exerting, so they wouldn't be using much, so it's going to convert to sugar. So these people have to avoid a lot of starchy food. Now, so the intestinal juice contain maltase. It also contains peptidase, which is another protein enzyme, and the peptidase is going to act on a polypeptide formed from the protein when trypsin and pepsin that work on the protein convert them to polypeptide. So um, the peptidase now is going to, these are some protein enzymes going to convert all of these polypeptide into amino acid. Okay, and that would be completion of this, the protein digestion. And amino acid now is protein. Your body can't store protein. It use it to repair damaged tissues, organs, whatever. It use it to build up new cell tissue and all that. 'Cause protein are the building blocks in the body. They are what do the building. Okay. So whatever protein amino acid the body never use is converted by the liver into uric acid and urea. And when water added to that, you get urine, which you pass out when you go to urinate, or some of it come out and you sweat. That's why when people sweat and wear the same clothes, it smell rankish like that, like said they piss up themselves. Anyway, yeah. So the maltase, you also have sucrase, enzyme sucrase, which acts on cane sugar or that kind of sugar and convert all of the sucrose, that's a type of sugar, into glucose. All right, and it breaks them down to glucose and fructose. And then you have yeah, that's basically it. Um, all of the food things. So whichever part of the food now is not digested is carried to the large intestine. The large intestine is made up of two parts: the colon, and then you have the rectum near down the end, which after you pass the rectum, you reach the anus. So food when not digested by the body, it's carried to the colon where you have rapid absorption because the food still contain vital nutrients in the form of minerals and vitamins. So these are absorbed out of the remainder food which doesn't digest, and what is left is a semi-hard substance which we call feces or doodle, whichever one you're familiar with. And then now, after that now, it's carried down to the rectum and it stay there until you get that urge to use the bathroom. And same peristalsis will push that undigested food, the feces, out through the rectum, through the anus, and that's defecation. No, that's not excretion. It's just getting rid of undigested food. All right. So, okay, hope I could help. All right. So, that's it for me. Logging off now. You mean, boss, me good me out now the dark part. All right. Oh, me stop this thing, you know. You know, me not say the thing. I need to start off. This is it.